this is the next night. Lots happened between last night and tonight. I got all, they're not even half of the ones in the box, so we're going to continue. Let's see what's behind the door here. Oh, okay. So this is one of my backup Light Sears tarot. As you can see, I have this. I guess they ripped through it in customs, I suppose. I don't know why that happened, but that's okay. I love my Light Sears tarot. I've actually, with the mass market, have gone through 2 now. One I ended up giving to my son because he didn't mind the kind of wonky, well, how do I say it? There was the first printing of the mass market had some like kind of wonky warping going on with the cards and with the sizes of it. So it was difficult for me to shuffle and use it. And I'm a professional reader. I need to be able to have cards that don't do that. So what ended up happening was I got another copy from, I think it was Hay House. And that's my go-to. That's the one I've been using, but that one is beat the hell up. And I don't use my indie version of the Light Sears because I love it dearly, and I may pull it out every now and then just to show it off. But yeah, for practical purposes, I use the mass market, and I'm happy to see it because, like I said, I'm not sure how much longer the other one's gonna hold up. And I don't want to have to wait for a shipment like one day, like if a card completely bends up, because I have a few cards that are totally bent, then I have my backup. So I'm happy to see this here, to be honest. Yes, I already own hella copies of this, but that's how much I love it. All right, let's see what's behind door number 2. Let's see. That makes me actually really happy. I had to do a couple of backups before I moved here because I was nervous. Oh, yay. This is my Oracle of Mystical Moments. I think I even packed the guidebook. This is the guidebook I actually packed because I knew I needed it for this deck. I read with it intuitively now because some of the keywords are like, I'm not quite sure. This one, bloom. Easy enough to work with, to the moon and back. Okay, I'm following, I suppose. Flower spirit, but there's one in here. There's a couple of the cards in this deck that I'm like, I'm not quite sure what the keyword's telling me. That I can intuitively look at the image and see what comes up for me with that. But the guidebook is really, something that complements this deck, I think. So pretty. Really love these images here. So this is the Oracle of Mystical Moments. I for sure have an unboxing of this deck. You see that? It's pretty. Oh, look at that, the Gardener. So that's one that, I could be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that means. Protective nest. Oh, so pretty. Oh my God. I'm very much into that whimsical, ethereal kind of art. I just love it. Love that so much. I'm gonna put this to the side here because I'm gonna play with that later. Okay, let's see what's here. I wonder, it's almost like I want to play a guessing game. Like, what is it? I knew it. I knew it was gonna be the Tarot of Mystical Moments, I think, right? That's what it's called. So I did an unboxing of this deck shortly before I made my relocation. And because it was a deck that I did not use regularly, it was brand new to my collection, I had it be one of the decks that came shipped, that was shipped later. But it's so beautiful, and I was so happy that it made it. And this is gorgeous. I believe this is U.S. Games. It's gilded, as you can see, silver gilding. And it's going to be beautiful to play with the Oracle of Mystical moments. Oh, just amazing. I think I'm going to get along quite well with this deck once I get a chance to get to know it, because I really appreciate the art style. But like I said, I had to make some tough decisions about what came with me and what's, stay at my parents' house so I can go back in a few months to visit with them and collect some more decks. But I had to have my working decks come, and this was not yet even close to being a working deck. So that's Knight of Swords. Oh my gosh, I love the words. The like piece of what is that? I don't know if it's like a newspaper article in their skirt or if it's just like an excerpt from a book, but I love the Knight of Swords for that. Six of Wands, so pretty. So yeah, check out the unboxing. I did do one recently in the last few months on this. Look at that, the High Priestess. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, so I'm gonna set that one also to the side because like I said, I'm gonna be playing with those later. I've been hoping, I couldn't remember if I'm pretty sure I knew these were one of the decks that would come, but I couldn't remember totally, and it was kind of driving me crazy, to be perfectly honest, about not remembering. I ran out of time before I could truly track what was coming to the States or coming from the States and what stayed in the States. And normally, you all know I'm very good about updating my spreadsheets, but it became so hectic and busy that, oh no. Okay, this is a Sandra Ann Taylor. This is the Sandra Ann Taylor Oracle, produced by Hay House. And it is a great deck, great Oracle deck. I actually really get along well with the Energy Oracle. And I started to do readings for clients and myself with it. And this deck also is a great working deck, for me, at least. But it wasn't one that I use all the time. I end up bringing the Energy Oracle with me on the plane because I use that faithfully. I know it like the back of my hand, but this one I was still getting to know, and so I was like, okay, this one would be the one I pack. Oh, I like that. It's beautiful. Hidden Motivations. Check out the unboxings for more details about the cards, because there's like more information about these keywords up here, and then of course you've got, or this talks about a little system within this Oracle deck that is helpful actually. So check that out. All right, set this to the side. Hopefully they don't spill. Because I'm like, let's see. This one, my friend Jessica made this beautiful case. And I just adore it so much. And I keep my Luna Soul Tarot in here. This is the first edition Luna Soul. I know that there is a matte version, and that does appeal to me. But again, I'm not really into buying decks just for the sake of saying, oh, I want a matte version versus the original. I just have to deal with what I got in some instances. Not all the time, but in some instances I just was like, you know what, girl. Here's a little guidebook. This is such a beautiful deck, and I'm so glad it made it here, because there was a time when I was exclusively using just this deck for love readings at one point. And then, of course, I moved on to the Light Seers, because that one I could use not just for love readings, but all sorts of readings. And you can use any tarot, honestly, for any kind of readings, but some of them for me work well for certain scenarios than others. This is a good all-rounder tarot deck, by the way, but for some reason, love readings resonated. It's diverse. I love the color palette. It's just beautiful, honestly. And I know, I don't know how the matte version shuffles, but I actually like this stock, to be perfectly honest. I can shuffle with it like a dream. I'm probably going to use it this spring. I'm going to leave it on my table, I think, and just fall back in love with it like I did. And this is a beautiful death card because I love the aspect of, yeah, you have the skeleton, yeah, you know, but you have the sun, you have the moon in the background, you have some indication of transformation here. You have an indication of ending a new beginning, and it's beautiful. It's really a great deck for beginners, in my opinion. I think. That's a great Five of Cups. Can you focus in for me, camera? Thank you. I won't keep gushing on about it, but I really like it a lot. So it made it, yay. Oh, another one. I'm going to keep all these on my reading table. That's impossible, but I think this will be one that I'll reintroduce into my client readings. Thanks, Jessica. All right, so this one almost needs no introduction. I keep it in here because I was keeping its little guide pages in this bag, this extra bag here. But this is the Mildred Paint Secret Pocket Oracle. I've collected all of the, like not additions, but the additions to it because I love this deck so much. In fact, I loved it so freaking much. Check out the unboxing too on this one. I love this one so much that I'd made a reading listing in my shops. And just to work with it. But it's like I had a client book a reading with it, I forgot to take the listing down for the Mildred Paint's reading that I would do. And I had to try to reach out to the client and say, I'm so sorry, but I forgot to take that listing down. I don't have this deck yet. It's not here with me. And I was kicking myself. It's so little. I could have dropped this in my purse. But I was like, at the time, nobody was really booking that reading anymore. And I wasn't thinking too much about it. But then I missed it for myself because this is a really damn good reader to me. Like, yes, it's an oracle deck. Yes, it's little. And I know they've made a bigger bridge size. I almost got the bridge size. But again, that goes against kind of what I'm going on right now, which is trying to buy the better version when you've got one at home already. So, but man, you can do predictive readings with this as well as readings just looking at the general energies or how to work out a situation. I can't wait to get back reacquainted with my Mildred Paint. I've missed this deck so freaking much. It has a Lenormand kind of feel, but it's an oracle, but then it predicts like a tarot. It's something fierce. Those of us who really love the Mildred Paint know the magic that it holds. And I'm grateful to have it in my collection as a reader for clients and as a reader for myself. And every time they're like, oh, I'm going to drop I'm glad they haven't in a while, but I'm going to drop a new edition, like additional 10 cards. You know, I'm on it. You know, I got to get it because I have to have the complete set. Now that is where I compromise on. That is where I compromise. Okay, so let me grab a couple more. I think we have a couple more minutes before this video part wraps up. As you can see, I used all sorts of things to wrap these. All the fabric I had. This was fabric that I was going to patch up on a couch. My couch that my dog had destroyed. But I never got around to it. But look here. I'm so happy. Y'all, I'm so happy. This is the Herb Crafters Tarot. Now I can finish the last parts for the tarot study group. I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that. So happy. This is amazing. I love this deck so much. And now that I'm in this beautiful tropical space and have a little clear, like clarity in my mind and and also in my time, not much, but just a little bit, to be able to explore the flora out here. I'm just so excited about finding the native herbs here and seeing what they're all about. And that's just kind of a season that I'm entering into my life. So this deck coming here is so good for me. Love the backs too. U.S. Games. Isn't that gorgeous? This is the Six of Fire. Nasturtium. I think that's how you pronounce it. So yeah, you guys, I can now finally wrap up the tarot study group that I had going. I had like 2 more suits I wanted to cover, and now it's here. I have the guidebook. That did come. The box is still at my parents' house, y'all. But the guidebook is here because I knew that once this deck comes, I'm going to wrap that part, do the parts, and then start doing some lives surrounding the herb crafters. But I have a whole nother deck that I'm excited to announce the tarot study group for this year, because I'm realizing it takes, like, for me, like a year to really dive into a deck, honestly. Some decks I instantly connect with, and some decks it's like I really have to study it, like this one. But I want to. It's not like, you know, you guys can relate. I want to learn this one. I want to connect with this one. I want to have a deep connection with this deck. So it came, and I wanted to do a study group so it could help my understanding and maybe help somebody on their journey as a novice to herbs. So I'll stick this to the side as well. I'm super excited about that. Let's see what else we have in this bag. It literally is like a surprise, like what's behind this door. I kind of like this process. Oh, yay, yay. Okay, so, I don't know, the Messenger's Oracle. I was so freaking torn about bringing this deck or not, because this deck is one that I use pretty much exclusively for myself with the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Those 2 decks, I do a lot of journaling with. I do a lot of meditating on the cards. I put them up so I can look at them, you know, like once they jump, and I sit with them and I journal about them. And the guidebook on the Dreams of Gaia, amazing. I sit with these cards as well as the Dreams of Gaia like for weeks at a time, just soaking in this information. Embrace the dark. Isn't that gorgeous? And I think there's like a new version of this one, but y'all know the drill. I'm refraining from Love That You Are Different. Isn't that cute? I'm refraining from looking. Yeah, it's glossy. Yeah, I'm not a fan of gloss, but it actually has held up quite well considering I used it all the time. It didn't come with me because, like I mentioned, I feel like I'm a broken record. Working decks needed to come, and they superseded the decks that I used for my altar spaces for myself, my personal readings that I do for myself. So that's that. And I will admit that I am a little regretful about that, because this would have been the time where I really could have benefited from an old friend or a big sister. And that's how I feel about the Dreams of Gaia and the Messenger's Oracle, is like when they work together, it's a conversation with a big sister for me, or a old friend who is so wise and gives it to you straight, but gentle, but still gives it to you straight. Now, I know a lot of people are not always fans of Dreams of Gaia. It is its own system in a way, but you know, you just have to either be okay with exploring the guidebook and not being afraid to pull it out when you need it, or just, you know, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing, and I can understand that too. But for me, it totally is my thing. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here because I don't like these videos getting too long anymore. And we'll reconvene in the next one. All right, stay tuned. There's more coming, because guess what? There's still quite a few more that I need to go through. Imagine that. All right, see you all soon.